So this is picking up right in the new Batman annual issue #1, and it's just so weird seeing a young, angrier, violent Absolute Batman, which is even weirder for me to say that because Absolute Batman is already a young, violent, angry version of the normal Batman. Batman here being pushed to the brink of murder, and honestly, there are some arguments that he just might be justified. Now, we move over and see Batman, Bruce Wayne, with his father when he was still alive and Bruce was a child. His father going on to read a newspaper where an extreme terrorist group bombed a local place, leaving a bunch of people dead. Bruce even going on to ask, why did they do that? Thomas Wayne, his father, going on to say that I wish I knew. This young child, Bruce, goes on to continue asking, what do we do? How do we make them stop? And his father answers in the only way he knows how, in his own perspective, as he goes on to say, I don't know. I'm just one person. I don't know how to fix the world, but I know what I'm good at, teaching. Every student I meet, I know I have a chance to make a difference in their lives. So maybe someday one of my students won't make the same mistakes these people made. And what about you, kiddo? What will you do? As we see, Bruce is just like those young children. No, he won't make the same mistakes. If anything, he's going to rectify them and bring justice. As we see Bruce just burning down an entire terrorist group, much like the one he's seen when he was a child, though this time with his own bare hands and a flamethrower. Though before we can see how this has happened, we have to get to the points leading up to all of this. Moving over years later, still before all the events happening in current Absolute Batman, Bruce is taking a trip through Slaughter Swamp, which, by the way, is a place that no one really wants to go. It's like a backwater hillbilly little area on the outskirts of Gotham, which Gotham City is already bad enough. In the outskirts, as we're going to see, is a little worse. So even as Bruce is making his way into Slaughter Swamp, as he drives by, he sees an encampment of people who are obviously down on their luck, trying to huddle together to survive in this new place, which if they're trying to stay here and hunker down in Slaughter Swamp, you know things are super desperate. But Batman is on a very specific mission, so he keeps on going and eventually meeting the person he is there to see. This guy here is supplying Batman with a bunch of explosives, modified rubber bullets, beanbags, the whole 9 yards. As because here in his younger days, in his almost origin area territory, he is gearing up to becoming the absolute Batman that Gotham City needs. So he still is piecing everything together to become the legend that Absolute Batman will be. But on his way out, he does have to ask the question, that large project and all the people and everything that was going on, what even is that? What happened? As we go on to find out that some company came in with big money and big promises, assumably going to rebuild up Slaughter Swamp and turn it into an actual livable and good place for more people to come and visit and build the city up. But 3 months into the construction, they just up and left without a word onto why. And assumingly we can find out that these people that are living there in the construction site or unfinished construction site were either the workers or seeking out whatever promises are made by the company, and eventually, as we can see, they up and left, so they didn't get it. So they are just stuck here for now, which they become a very important plot point in a second. For now, as Bruce is gearing up to leave, he hears someone yelling out in danger, so of course he goes on to check. And here's where things get very, very interesting, because Batman finds a mother and a child getting ganged up and beat on by assumingly the original residents of Slaughter Swamp here, as they even go on to say, don't you know where you are? This town belongs to us. You're the stranger here. You're the one who doesn't belong. Of course, Slaughter Swamp being a place that no one really visits, so when visitors did come and outsiders arrived, the people living there already absolutely hated that, resorting now to even beating women and children, possibly even going on to kill them if they got their way, though Batman doesn't allow that to happen. As he steps in and just clocks the guy with his fist bigger than his face in his face. Of course, Bruce Wayne getting ready to stand up to this injustice and take them all out, whatever have you, until he is just blindsided from behind by the same old man that sold him the weapons, disorienting him with a metal tool. Now, Batman is like almost 7 feet tall, I think 6 feet 9 inches specifically, but there's no way this older man here, unless he was super tall as well, I don't know, but there's no way he was able to even reach up and get his head in the first place. But not only that, we also see the introduction of this group's leader, a man named DJ. And with this group here, it's never explicitly revealed to us what's the direct origin and the name of it, but it's not hard to draw parallels between some other groups and other extremists out there in the real world, you know, your Nazis, KKKs, whatever have you. But regardless of what they are, they just are beating on Bruce as well, saying that he has an out-of-town savior complex. And these guys here, they fully intend to beat and stomp Bruce Wayne here to death. The only positive here, though, is Bruce Wayne taking the beating here allowed the mother and child to run away and get to safety. Bruce, at the very least, though, isn't alone in all of this, as we also see somebody else jump in to defend Bruce, actually. It's a man, a priest that goes by Father Peters. And now, of course, this guy isn't an outsider like Batman, but he's actually a loco in this Slaughter Swamp area, as him even going on to tell one of the people here who are doing the beating and part of this group that he's known him since before he could even walk. A child, this isn't him. Him even going on to take off his mask and reveal that he's nothing more than a teen, a young man, even being uncertain in his own actions. Now, we're going to see why in a second, but the leader here eventually tells everybody to pack it up and leave. This is more trouble than is worth, and these people here aren't the real target. No, the real target and people they want to take out and drive away are the people that are over there huddling inside of the construction camp. The people, I say in quotations, plaguing their town. Now, obviously, this entire situation has gone sideways for Bruce Wayne here. He never intended to stay here longer than he needs, so he wanted to be in and out as quick as possible. Though eventually Bruce wakes back up at the priest little hideout here, being bandaged up and fixed back to health. In honesty, all of the interactions here between Bruce Wayne and Father Peters are the highlight of this entire issue for me, because they go into a little bit of a moral dilemma, each having their own sides of what they think is right and how they execute them, even though in the end goal they share the same philosophies, just in the way they do them, where it's completely different. Bruce going on to pick up a photo frame, one that has priest and a bunch of other protesters protesting whatever, even at gunpoint, still standing tall and firm in whatever they believe in. And this picture here, just keep this in mind, because it does wrap around all the way at the end. Bruce asking, is this him in the picture? And the priest says yes, but it was a long time ago, and he's made a lot of friends during that time, all of them of course chasing peace, a never-ending journey as it may seem. Bruce goes on to continue asking, the tattoo that were on the boy's arm, the marking, the little symbol, what does it mean and why? And here we finally get to learn what exactly is happening and plaguing the small backwater town of Slaughter Swamp, as the priest goes on to say, 6 months ago we had an outsider come in recruiting. Now, he doesn't know much about him or whoever he's been recruiting, but he's been filling the heads and the hearts of all of the boys here, all of the men really, and giving them a very dark place to go to, meaning it wasn't always like this before. Whoever this mysterious stranger is, who we can assume maybe is DJ, the leader of this group, he or whoever else came here and planted these ideals and mission into all of the men already here at Slaughter Swamp, uniting them into one cause, even as wrong as that mission and cause may be. It's even revealed that the boy and the mother from earlier, they are from the same encampment we saw all the way at the beginning, and this group here, they plan to run them all out of town tonight by any means necessary, which of course meaning this group is potentially going to kill all of them if they don't leave. Bruce, knowing he can't just sit by and watch this happen, even though he is another outsider, he decides to finally step in himself, going on to grab a very specific suitcase from the back of his truck that he arrived in that is now destroyed and burnt from the group there. He says sometimes peace isn't an option and sometimes words don't work. And as while Bruce is gearing up, so is this extremist group in the same fashion. And it's not even just them, there's even the local police as well. Them arriving to the scene, seeing these masked and armed men gather up, getting ready to descend upon the encampment here. The police are very much aware and very much in on this entire thing as well, showing you how deep this corruption, how deep this group runs. And even as they descend, it's just a massacre, a beatdown. Like the homeless people here at the encampment, they put up no resistance at all. They aren't here to fight or are violent. They didn't come here for a hostile takeover. No, they just wanted to survive. Now, why they will go to somewhere like Slaughter Swamp is beyond me, even if that company from before was building up and wanted to build new buildings and towers and make it actually livable. I mean, just living in somewhere named Slaughter Swamp is crazy. But the people here have no way to defend themselves. They aren't fighters. Thankfully, someone who is and someone who will stand up for them finally arrives in the form of absolute Batman, finally fully clothed and ready for a fight this time. And now the entire dynamics of the battlefield changes. The predators become the prey as Batman just beats down everyone. He sweeps up house, from kicking people's jaws in, breaking arms as we've seen, even power slamming a police officer on his neck. Like, there's no way he survives this, right? Like, he's at least paralyzed for the rest of his life. And it gets even worse when someone pulls out a gun, the same store owner from before that Batman actually bought his weapons from. The whole reason why he is here, he pulls out a weapon and aims it at a little boy's head, telling him that he's going to shoot and kill him. And much like all the other people from before, Batman just shows no mercy, stabbing the man through the eyes and face with batterings before just lunging his 400-pound knee straight into his skull, caving it in. And at this point, the battle is completely over, not just because Batman is an overwhelming force no one can truly take out, but because everybody else has ran, both the extremist group here and the people that lived here at this encampment, leaving Batman to move over to the leader, DJ here, who has orchestrated this entire thing, or assumingly so, to finally get some answers, though DJ picks up the same gun from before and aims it at Batman, firing. Now, it's unclear if one of two things happened, and I can't tell which one is more savage or hardcore for this Batman. Either DJ shot the bullet and Batman just stands there unfazed as the bullet just hits him and ricochets off, or absolute Batman here at point blank range just moves the slitherest and tiniest bit of an inch and just dodges the bullet without a care in the world, showing him how truly helpless and outmatched this guy is here. And in return, Batman just caves this guy's face in with his fist, just over and over and over again, beating him within an inch of his life. And potentially Batman wasn't going to stop. He was fully intending to end this man's life. But in the same instance from earlier, the priest from before jumps in over this guy's body just like he did to Bruce Wayne. And the question at first is why? Why are you doing this? Why are you protecting him? The priest goes on to say that killing him and beating him like this won't fix it. It just won't. But at the same time, he doesn't know how to make everything better, and that this isn't the way. It's only going to make things worse. But that's the thing, even as Batman says, this is his way, taking things and matters into his own hands, using violence or whatever else have you. This is the only way he knows how to make things right, which honestly brings a fascinating moral dilemma, because on one instance, Bruce is right. There isn't any amount of words or peace that was going to make this group stop here today and not go on to potentially kill some of the inhabitants of this encampment here. But on the other end, is it right to just immediately execute them on the spot, even for someone like Batman, who is a third party, taking the matters into his own hands? But for now, as both sides go on to retreat and regroup and restock for the continued battle, we see a couple things happen. One, the extremist group goes back to get more ammunition and more people, whatever, and Batman roams the site of this construction area, finding the keys to eventually what become his giant Batmobile, the giant dump truck that was used on the site. And if you thought it was a stomp before, these guys are just woefully unprepared for what Batman is bringing, as he just rams his truck through their hideout and just continues beating down on everybody here, even as they rain bullets and try to stop him. Batman eventually cornering one of the last guys standing, who is out of bullets and is pointing his weapon at him, as he says, "You can't do this to us. We're human beings just like you." Bruce instead here goes on to make something very abundantly clear to them, saying, "No, you're roaches, and there's only one way to deal with those," pulling out a flamethrower and just burning everyone and everything here to the ground, which of course brings us back full circle to where we were at the beginning. But even after the fact, after the fire's still burning, all the men are defeated, the same priest from before, Priest Peters, walks in this time with a medical kit, starting to bandage up and fix some of the downed in people here. And again, Batman just has one question. Why? Why does he do this? These people, they are the scum of the earth. They deserve it. The priest, though, goes on to say a few simple words. "You have your way, and I have mine." Which again, like I said, their interactions and their moral dilemmas here is just super fascinating to me, because yeah, for someone like Bruce Wayne and Batman here, especially this absolute version of him anyway, he's like a giant hammer in a lot of situations. All he knows is to use his violence, his skills, his training to stop injustice and bad guys that way. But that just puts into question, is that always the right solution to a lot of things? Because as a hero and as someone who wants to see the world better, second chances and redemption also needs room to play a part, and that can't happen when you just start executing everyone at every level. Now, that isn't to say that there isn't limits, and maybe some of these guys, especially their leader DJ, pass those limits, but it is still interesting to see the two here, even though they are on the same sides of good and justice, go about it two completely different ways. And even after the fact that Bruce is driving home in this new huge bat dump truck that he's going to soon make it to be, I think this interaction here with this priest here, especially being super early into his Batman career here, really shaped his no-kill rule and the way he goes about things in the future, because as he is here reminiscing about everything here, we get pieces of the same interaction between Bruce and his father. In the flashback long ago, Bruce as a child telling his father that you did a lot of cool stuff when you were younger. You made a difference. You did something. And I'm going to do just that. I'm going to be just like you. I just have to figure out how. Us even seeing the same picture in a frame that the priest had, because it was not only him in that photo. No, it was also Thomas Wayne there as well, protesting whatever here in Gotham City, which I think is the real reason why Bruce took this moral dilemma to heart, is because he knew his father was in the same situation like the priest was and believed the same sort of things. His father even going on to say, "Bruce, I know your nature. I know who you are deep down. You have a strong and compassionate heart. All you have to do is be yourself, because no matter what you do, I'll always be proud of you." Getting Batman to stop and think, literally looking at the blood on his hands, not in any metaphorical or symbolic sense, but quite actually, blood dripping off the palm of his claws. In this fact, reminiscing about all of this and what his future holds and what he truly wants to do, becoming this, well, Batman, it kind of breaks him in a way, as we see him just sitting down almost crying outside of his giant truck here, ending this entire story and mini origin for a lot of things within a Batman mythos. Absolute Batman, which for me anyway, this was incredible. If this was a normal issue of Absolute Batman, this would definitely be within the top 10 issues. Though as always, if you have enjoyed watching, leave a like or subscribe if you are new and want to see more content just like this. As always, this was AJ here at The Hero Informer, and thank you for watching.